I'm 82 years old, and I just calculated something that made me physically sick. I worked 21,600 days of my life, and I have almost nothing to show for it that my name is Harold. For 60 years, I woke up every single day and went to work. I never called in sick unless I was dying. Never took vacations I was entitled to. Never left early. Never complained. I thought that's what success looked like. I thought hard work would pay off. I thought if I just kept my head down and did my job, everything would work out. I was wrong about all of it. And now I'm 82 years old, looking back at 6 decades of labor and realizing I got played. The system got exactly what it wanted from me, and I got almost nothing in return. I need to tell you what really happens when you give your entire life to work. Not the fairy tale version they sell you. Not the American dream story about hard work paying off. The real version. The one nobody talks about until it's too late. Let me start at the beginning. I was born in 1943. Grew up in Ohio. Working class family. My father worked at a factory making auto parts. My mother stayed home with us kids. For boys, I was the second oldest. Money was tight, but we had enough. My father would come home exhausted every night. Barely talked during dinner. Just ate and went to bed so he could do it all again the next day. That was normal. That's what men did. You worked hard. You provided for your family, and you didn't complain about it. I graduated high school in 1961. I was 18 years old. College wasn't really an option. We didn't have the money, and honestly, it didn't seem necessary. You could get a good job right out of high school back then. A job that could support a family, so that's what I did. Got hired at the same factory where my father worked. Starting position on the assembly line. The pay was decent. Union job with benefits. My father was proud. Said I was setting myself up for a good life. I started working in June of 1961. I was 18 years old. And from that day forward, for the next 60 years, work became the center of my entire existence. At first it was fine. I was young, had energy. The work was physical, but I could handle it. Show up at 7 a.m., work until 3:30 p.m., go home. Monday through Friday, sometimes Saturdays when they needed overtime. The overtime paid time and a half. More money meant I could save up, maybe buy a car, eventually get my own place. So I took every overtime shift they offered. Worked Saturdays, sometimes Sundays. 50, 60-hour weeks became normal. I met my wife Linda in 1963. She worked at a diner near the factory. I'd go there for lunch sometimes. We started talking, started dating, got married in 1964. I was 21 years old. We moved into a small apartment. Linda kept working at the diner until we had our first kid in 1966, a son. We named him Robert. After that, she stayed home with the baby. I became the sole provider. That's when the pressure really started. Now I wasn't just working for myself. I was working for my family. Missing the day of work meant missing the day of pay. And we needed every dollar. Rent, food, diapers, everything cost money. So I never missed work. Never doubt we had our second child in 1968, a daughter, Michelle. Now I had a wife and 2 kids depending on me. The pressure got heavier. I took on more overtime. Started working 6 days a week regularly, sometimes 7. I barely saw my kids when they were little. I'd leave for work before they woke up, come home after they were in bed. Weekends I was so exhausted I just wanted to rest. Linda handled everything at home. I was just the guy who brought home the paycheck. But I told myself this was what being a good father meant. Providing. Making sure they had food and clothes and a roof over their heads. That was my job. That's what men did. The factory work was hard. Physical labor. repetitive motions, loud machinery, harsh conditions. Summers were brutally hot. Winters were freezing. The work never changed. Same tasks day after day, year after year. Some guys would complain, talk about how they hated the job, hated the bosses, hated the monotony. I never complained. I just did the work, kept my head down, did what I was told. That's what you were supposed to do. In 1975 we bought a house. Small 3-bedroom in a working class neighborhood. It wasn't much, but it was ours. Well, it was the bank's for 30 years. But you know what I mean. The mortgage added more pressure. Now I really couldn't afford to miss work. Couldn't afford to lose my job. Couldn't afford to do anything that might jeopardize my income. So I became even more dedicated, even more reliable. The guy who never said no. Need someone to work a double shift. I do it. Need someone to come in on their day off. I do it. Need someone to work through holidays. I do it. I became the go-to guy. Management loved me. I thought that meant something. The years started blurring together. 1975 became 1980, became 1985. Same routine every single day. Wake up, go to work, come home exhausted, go to bed, repeat. Weekends were just recovery time to gear up for another week. Robert and Michelle grew up without me really being there. I was physically present sometimes, but mentally, I was always at work, always tired, always stressed about money and bills and keeping everything together. Linda and I barely had a relationship. We were roommates managing a household. She did her job, I did mine. We didn't talk about dreams or feelings or what we wanted from life. We just survived that. In 1984, Robert graduated high school, went straight to work at a factory just like I did. I remember feeling proud at the time, like I'd set a good example. Now I realize I just condemned him to the same trap I was in. Michelle graduated in 1986, got a job as a secretary, got married young, had kids young. Same pattern repeating. I kept working. The factory started having financial problems in the late 80s. Rumors about layoffs, about closing. Everyone was scared. I worked even harder, thinking if I proved how valuable I was, I'd be safe. In 1991, they did a round of layoffs. Guys who'd worked there for 25 years got let go with barely any notice. I survived that round. Told myself it was because I was reliable, because I worked hard, because I never complained. Really, it was just luck. They needed to keep enough people to run the line, and I happened to be one of them. The layoffs meant those of us who stayed had to work even harder. Do the jobs of 2 or 3 people, same pay, more work, but we did it. What choice did we have? We had mortgages and families and bills. We couldn't quit. I started having health problems in my 50s. Back pain from years of repetitive motion. Hearing damage from the loud machinery. Joint problems. High blood pressure from stress. The doctor said I needed to slow down. Take it easier. I couldn't. I had another 10 years until retirement. Until I could finally rest. I just had to make it to 65, and then I'd have my pension and social security, and I could finally relax. So I kept working through the pain, took medication to manage the symptoms, wore a back brace, pushed through. That's what you did. You didn't let physical problems stop you from providing for your family. In 2003, the factory announced they were closing, moving operations to Mexico where labor was cheaper. After 42 years of working there, I was out of a job. I was 60 years old. They gave us severance, a few months' pay. Made it sound generous, like they were doing us a favor. After 42 years of loyalty, of never missing work, of doing everything they asked, I got a few months' pay and a handshake. The pension I'd been counting on got reduced. Some legal restructuring thing I didn't fully understand. Instead of the full amount I'd been promised, I'd get about 60% of it, and I couldn't access it until I was 65 anyway. I was 60 years old with 5 years until retirement and no job. I needed to keep working, needed the income, needed the health insurance. So I started looking. Nobody wanted to hire a 60-year-old factory worker. I applied everywhere. Places said I was overqualified or underqualified, or they went with someone else. Really, they just didn't want to hire an old guy. I finally got a job at a warehouse, loading and unloading trucks. Even more physical than the factory work. Half the pay, no benefits, but it was something. I worked there for the next 5 years. My body was breaking down. The back pain got worse. My knees started going. I was exhausted all the time, but I kept showing up, kept working, just had to make it to 65. I turned 65 in 2008. Finally eligible for my reduced pension and Social Security. Finally able to retire after 47 years of continuous work. Linda and I ran the numbers. With my reduced pension and Social Security, we had just enough to live on if we were careful. No luxuries, no travel, just enough to cover basic expenses. This was supposed to be our golden years. The time we'd earned after decades of hard work. Time to finally relax and enjoy life. But I was too broken to enjoy anything. My body was destroyed from years of physical labor. Chronic pain that never went away. I couldn't do the things retired people were supposed to do. Couldn't travel because my back couldn't handle long car rides. Couldn't do physical activities because my joints were shot. And I was angry. So angry. I'd done everything right. Worked hard. Never complained. Been loyal. And this is what I got for it. A broken body. A barely adequate pension. And a life I'd sacrificed everything for. Linda died in 2015. Heart attack. She was 72. We'd been married for 51 years. And I barely knew her. We'd spent our entire marriage surviving instead of living. Working instead of being together. And now she was gone. And I never got to have the retirement with her we planned. After she died, I really started thinking about my life. Really looking at what I'd done with my 60 years of work. I'd miss my kids growing up. Miss being there for important moments because I was always at work. Robert barely talks to me now. Michelle calls on holidays. They don't blame me exactly, but we don't have relationships. We're strangers who happen to be related. I'd sacrifice my health. My back is permanently damaged. My hearing is mostly gone. I have arthritis in every joint. I'm on multiple medications. Every day involves pain. And for what? So I could work 21,600 days making other people rich. I'd sacrifice my marriage. Linda and I never got to be partners. We were co-workers running a household. We never traveled together. Never pursued hobbies together. Never really knew each other beyond the surface level. I'd sacrifice myself. I don't even know who I am beyond being a worker. For 60 years my entire identity was my job. And now I don't have a job. And I don't have an identity. I'm just an old man sitting alone in a house waiting to die. And what did I get for those 60 years? A pension that's barely enough to live on. Social Security that's less than I was told it would be. A broken body. No relationships. No hobbies. No interests. Nothing. The factory made billions of dollars during the years I worked there. The executives made millions in salaries and bonuses. The shareholders made fortunes. And the workers who actually made the product, we got just enough to survive and keep coming back. I thought loyalty mattered. I thought hard work would be rewarded. I thought if I just did my job and didn't cause trouble, I'd be taken care of. But companies don't care about loyalty. They'll use you up and spit you out the second it benefits them financially. My 42 years at that factory meant nothing to them. I was just a number on a spreadsheet. When they could save money by replacing me, they did. No hesitation, no guilt. I thought I was being a good father by working all the time. But my kids needed a father, not a paycheck. They needed someone who was present, who knew them, who was part of their lives. Instead, they got someone who was always tired and always stressed and always at work. I thought I was being a good husband by providing, but Linda needed a partner, not a meal ticket. She spent 50 years alone in our marriage while I was busy working, and now she's gone, and I never gave her what she actually needed. I'm 82 years old now. I've been retired for 17 years, and I spend every day thinking about all the time I wasted, all the moments I miss, all the life I didn't live because I was too busy working. People talk about work-life balance like it's some new concept, like our generation didn't understand it, but I understood it. I just thought work had to come first. I thought you sacrificed everything for work, and then later, after retirement, you get to live. But that's a lie. There is no later. By the time you retire, you're too old, too tired, too broken to do the things you put off. And the people you put off spending time with might not even be around anymore. I've worked 21,600 days of my life. That's 60 years, over half a century. And I can count on one hand the number of those days I actually enjoyed. The rest were just endurance, just getting through it, just surviving until the weekend or the next vacation or retirement. What a waste. What a stupid, pointless waste of a life. And the worst part is I see young people making the same mistakes, sacrificing everything for work, missing their kids' childhoods because they're always at the office, destroying their health from stress and long hours, thinking that if they just work hard enough, it'll all pay off in the end. That it won't. I'm living proof. I did everything you're supposed to do, worked hard, stayed loyal, never complained, and I got screwed anyway. The system isn't designed to reward workers. It's designed to extract maximum value from workers while giving them minimum return. That's just how it works. And the sooner you understand that, the sooner you can stop sacrificing your life for a system that doesn't care about you. If I could go back and talk to my 18-year-old self, here's what I'd say. Don't make work your whole life. Yes, you need money. Yes, you need to support yourself and your family. But don't let that become your entire existence. Your kids won't remember how much money you made. They'll remember whether you were there, whether you knew them, whether you were part of their lives, or just someone who paid the bills. Your spouse needs you present, not just providing. They need a partner who's engaged, who's there mentally and emotionally, not just physically showing up at the end of a long day too tired to connect. Your health matters more than any job. Once you destroy your body, you can't get it back, and all the money in the world won't fix it. Trust me, I know. Take vacations, use your sick days, leave work at work, draw boundaries, protect your time and your energy and your life because your employer won't do it for you. They'll take everything you're willing to give and then ask for more. Don't buy into the loyalty myth. Companies aren't loyal to you. They'll replace you the second it makes financial sense. So don't sacrifice your life for a company that sees you as expendable. Work to live. Don't live to work. I know that sounds like a cliche, but it's true. Work is something you do to fund your life, not something that replaces your life. I'm 82 years old. I worked for 60 years, and I have so many regrets I can barely breathe sometimes thinking about them. I regret not being there for my kids. I regret not building a real relationship with my wife. I regret sacrificing my health. I regret giving everything to a system that gave me almost nothing in return. I regret believing that work was the most important thing, that providing was the same as being present, that someday, eventually, I'd get to actually live. That someday never came. And now I'm too old, too tired, too broken to do anything about it. Don't make my mistakes. Don't give 60 years of your life to work. Don't sacrifice everything that actually matters for a paycheck and empty promises. Work is necessary, but it's not everything. It's not even the most important thing. And if you make it the center of your existence like I did, you wake up one day at 82 years old and realize you never actually lived. You just worked. Day after day, year after year, until your body broke and your time ran out and all you have left is regret. I worked 21,600 days and all I got for it was a broken body, failed relationships, and a life I never actually lived. Don't let that be your story. Hit subscribe if this changed how you see your work.